everybody. I'm Tim Kloppenborg. I'm a collection editor for Business Expert Press for the portfolio and project management area. I'd like to introduce you to two of my authors. I've known Connie for quite a while, and she's an enthusiastic project management instructor and a former executive. And she also co-wrote another book developing strengths-based project teams. Then she made the mistake of telling me that was fun, I'd like to do it again. So when I met Jill at the Academy of Management, Jill is an accomplished communication expert who's had a lot of experiences and was relatively new to project management. So I introduced the two of them, and well, the rest is history. Connie and Jill, would you tell us a little about yourselves?
Well, thanks, Tim. And first of all, thanks for connecting us. It's been great to collaborate with Jill on this book. I started my project management career just by accident. I was working for a large organization and I got hired by a small company that did training. And I said, this is great. They probably got a catalog of courses that I could look at. Well, they offered one thing, and the topic was project management. So I figured in order to be successful in this career, I better learn and grow my own project management skills. So I got involved in the Project Management Institute, PMI, which is the professional association for what we do. And then I volunteered for PMI for many years. And then I also got certified as a project management professional, or PMP. And so when I saw what project management can do in terms of delivering business results, I said to myself, hey, I want to be a part of that. And so that's my project management story. Jill, over to you.
Thanks, Connie. So I came to this book project from the opposite side, the communication side. I spent the first pretty big chunk of my career working for a healthcare magazine as a writer and then as an editor. And from there, then I moved into communications, working with organizations to communicate with their employees. And from there, I moved into the project management world. So I work in a role where I work with project managers every day, and the academic and at the practitioner level, as well as with government, talking to project managers about how to advance themselves in their careers, as well as how to advance the profession as a whole.
Good, good. Well, you can see they both have excellent background. Now, with such different backgrounds, though, how did you collaborate to write this book?
Great question, Tim. We took the approach that this was a project, and we were a project team. And so we had a project plan that identified the scope and the schedule and milestone dates, of course, and resources, and a risk management plan, which we ended up having to implement due to the pandemic. And then, of course, we also had a communication plan, of which there actually is a sample in the book of our communication plan. So we had a plan, we worked the plan, and produced a great product.
Okay, good. And what kind of content did you include in the chapters that emphasize maybe more communications or more project management?
So we knew going into this book that we wanted to talk about communication differently. There's a lot written out there on communicating in projects, and yet projects still fail all the time because of poor communication. So we knew we needed to take a different approach. So coming from my background in communications, I see professionals in every industry talk about how much they know communication is important, yet on a day-to-day basis, it kind of gets pushed by the wayside and other things take greater priority. So we thought it was important to talk about communication from kind of a very basic theoretical level. So we address why people communicate from a very basic level. Why do people communicate and why do they not communicate sometimes? And then we wanted to take that and apply it to projects. So we moved into some practical concepts that people will encounter when they're communicating on a project. Understanding who your audience is, understanding how to use communication to manage change and how to use it to manage conflict. So these things come up in projects all the time and they threaten to derail projects, and communication is always kind of at the core of that.
And so we spent some time researching in the beginning how communication management had evolved over time in looking at the various versions of the PMBOK guide. And it's really interesting to compare your own evolution of communication management and projects against what has been seen in the PMBOK guide. And so we also then need to look at the basics in project communications, as well as the planning, the managing, the monitoring, And finally, looking at the tools, because because you have a communication tool doesn't mean that you've effectively communicated.
Yeah, yeah. These are all good points. They're sure sounding familiar to me as somebody who's been in project management a long time. So what makes your book unique?
So as I mentioned, we wanted to talk about communicating in projects on that conceptual level to give people the why of why communication in a project is important. But then we knew we also needed to give them the how. So we put in a lot of practical information. Most of our chapters end with a section we called Putting It into Practice, which breaks out specific activities that practitioners can use. And we segmented those into traditional project teams, into agile project teams, and then especially relevant right now into distributed project teams. So those are who are virtual or work remotely, and giving them activities that they can use to enhance their communications within their projects.
Oh, that is good. That's going to be so helpful. So Connie and Jill really have demonstrated how to practice what they preach. They use solid project management and communication tools to plan and manage their own work, and they show how to do it for others. Whether you're looking for just one little piece, a couple little tools, or whether you're really looking for a whole system, this book can be very helpful to you. I urge you to check it out.